Greetings and salutations on this Friday afternoon, 2022-05-20, 20th of May. I just had a visit from the landlord on the property here, and I learned something. I guess I've known for a while. I shouldn't say known. I've been confused about for a while, and he told me point blank. He brought some containers down so that I can start getting more involved in some of the recycling stuff. I've got my dirt and soil. Sorry, and everything else I needed to get started here for the land preparation. But running into an issue about recycling. I thought everything was recyclable. Like in the area I've got here, I've had tin cans, glass, everything decompose on me, right? In less than 10 years. Now, that said, it's only a small amount, but it's enough to have made a lot of dirt and soil that I can actually plant stuff that I'm eating now. And here's where it gets disturbing. He went over the amount of recyclables in plastic. And to make a long story short, we talked for maybe half an hour, 40 minutes or so, maybe more. Um, those plastic garden chairs that you sit on, apparently they're not recyclable. A lot of siding. In fact, the vast majority of plastic is non-recyclable. Then I found out other than glass jars, window pane glass, which is a huge chunk of our glass, and things like mirrors and such, anything that's got decorative on it or paint on it, non-recyclable. And he said an interesting comment as he was heading back to his abode. He said, it should be made illegal to make that kind of garbage. He was talking about the plastic chairs and such. I've thrown them in the recycle pile that he takes out, and I didn't realize that most of that is garbage that you can't recycle. It goes to the landfill site, and I have to agree with him. That should be fucking illegal. I had no clue. The vast majority of the plastic and glass that we're producing is garbage, is completely non-recyclable at this point in time in Canada, Ontario. I did some research on it briefly, just enough to verify the point, and wow, I'm stunned. I don't even know what to say. I just felt I had to say something about this, at least get some people in the local area, in our communities, talking about it, because there's got to be a better way. If they're going to still manufacture it, what's if we stop buying these cheap fucking plastic pieces of garbage, really? I mean, I've still got an injury. I'm not kidding. Okay, your butt crack, right? Now, I'm a guy, I got like a nut sack, okay? Literally about 4 millimeters away from my nut sack, I got a huge pinch on my ass from a plastic chair that broke as I got up. I didn't know it was broken. As I got up, the chair came back. Whoa, you talk about scream. I made a lot of noise. And I got this big welt on my crotch area, just literally about that far from my nutsack. A wee bit more, and I think I would have been in a lot of trouble. And I'll tell you, it took a while to get it off because I had to actually sit back down, push and pull the chair back in order to get my nutsack out, or my ass crack out of it. And that was about 3 weeks ago. I've still got a bit of a scar under there where I can feel there's like a ridge. It bled like quite a bit. So there's our plastic chairs breaking apart, and that's just the tip of the iceberg from what I'm understanding. And I was anxious, and I thought, let's just put out a video and say something about it and see what happens. I don't know what to suggest. I think it's nuts. Everybody recycling, but is it really helping? Are we really recycling? I invite everyone, if you've got any passion or any interest in this at all, please look up all the information you can on recycling and the state of, say, the recycling project in your area. Because we need some good people on this to start thinking about how to re-deal with this, readdress it. The way we're going, it's not going to work. And this brings me to the subject of pollution. Now, I haven't thrown out garbage in like 10 years. I'm just starting to now as I pull it out of the ground, which I have no regrets on. I'll tell you why, because I got some fucking amazing soil. I'm not sure how that's developed, but I'm going to give you a couple of theories. See, one person, I don't think, can do enough damage to the land. I don't think you can. If you're not using machinery and you're just doing it by hand. But having said that, I could see that over a period of many, many, many years, if we continue to buy garbage, bring it into our area, like Tom was telling me, oh, I don't see anything on there for recycling. See, some things like this, sometimes I've got to keep all the soft plastic and the hard plastic separated. Apparently, you can put plate glass in with metal because it's just garbage. I don't understand, and I'm confused. And he's trying to explain it to me, and I'm having a really hard time understanding what goes where. And also, the research shows that a lot of this recycled stuff, they got tracking on a lot of these things now, these electronic things on them that we can tell where it ends up. And most of it's ending up in landfill sites in other countries or in the ocean. Most of it. Last video it said at least 50%. Wow. Very disturbing. So, what are your ideas? What do you think we can do about this? How do you think we can change this? Because I feel we're down this unsustainable path to destruction. From the air pollution, the land pollution, noise pollution, people talking about chemtrails. I mean, that's a load of horse shit, but not really, because those jets do produce a lot of fucking toxic waste into the atmosphere. And many of you might argue, but it is affecting our weather. Also, the blatant cutting down of trees, the lack of attention to our personal communities and putting bug spray and pesticides, herbicides, and everything else on the land is not helping. It's not helping anything. I'm trying to convince people that it seems like, trying to teach a dead man to speak. I think that's all I really wanted to say, is just to get it out there about this recycling stuff and add my voice to the people out there that are concerned about it. If there's anything I can do to help, I'm here. And I'm not sure if I mentioned already, but the landlord did bring down a couple of large bins for me that I've got a few more myself here. I'm going to start putting this stuff in it. But I do have caveats to it. I'm doing it because it's what's expected right now. And it's not my piece of land to work with, because let's face it, I was born onto a planet where I'm not supposed to be here. There is no piece of land for Dave. And I think that's true for most of you. I learned that having a mortgage, and even if you pay off your house, it doesn't fucking matter, taxes and everything else, and you're kind of screwed. And you're not allowed to build your gardens. You're not allowed to do it in a way that, because it's going to attract too much wildlife. And nobody wants wildlife in their garden unless it's cute little squirrels. It's like there's a war on nature. Tell me I'm not alone and feeling so fucked up over this. So freaking frustrated beyond words. And then you try and focus on what's life about? What are we supposed to be doing with ourselves? This no-brain consumerism, buy until you drop kind of thing. I used to say once upon a time, shop till you drop. I was actually mocking the system, but some people took that wrong, thinking I'm promoting it. I'm not. I wish there was a better way. I've started buying grains in little plastic containers, right? And then I put them into metal ones. Now, a lot of that soft plastic is recyclable, but not all of it. And, over 10 years, you think about the amount of garbage. It's not being sorted out, because most of us don't know how to sort it out properly. And when it comes to biodegradable stuff like your cardboard, your toilet paper, things like that, Jesus Christ, as they say. Yeah, I'm using God's name in a worthless way. You know why? Because there isn't one. There isn't one beyond people's illusion of money and consumerism. You know, it's saying lost for words, right? And when you feel like nothing you do matters in this world, unless everybody is involved in doing something that's going to make a difference, I don't think there's a batshit hope in hell of long term survival. And unless we're going to survive and live to thrive, we are already dead. Which brings in some philosophical questions. Make your comments in the chat thing. I've disabled the live chat on almost everything now because it's useless. Unless I'm doing a production thing in advance, I am not going to be doing any live chat with anyone for a long time now. There's just too many other things need doing to keep alive. And as we approach the twilight zone, I'm not sure if it's this year or next year, but I'm 60. So it's either this year in June or next year in June, I become 60 years old. It seems like fuck all. Like, oh, yesterday I was a teenager. The day before I was a middle-aged person. And then the day before that, blah, blah, blah. I know it's kind of backwards, but we got to change the way we're doing things. These ways that we're working with just aren't working. Let me know what you think. Find me on Facebook, and you'll be able to chat with me on Facebook anytime. But here on YouTube, I'm kind of like, I just put the videos out because it's fast and easy. Friday afternoon, going into the long weekend for May 2-4. I've got a lot of plants growing in the ground now in the dirt soil that I've made, or the soil that's been created from the dirt that was here by just piling up garbage, creating habitats for bugs and stuff. I know the way I'm doing it has a long-term fucking benefit. At the same time, it looks ugly as shit. Like fucking ugly, and I'm getting sick of it. That's why I agreed with Tom to start putting the garbage out. As much as it goes against everything that I believe in, I also need a Zen space that is aesthetically pleasing to myself. I can't live in garbage forever. And yet I know by sending out that garbage, we're just creating a longer, bigger problem. Because we got the diesel trucks come by to pick it up. The diesel engine's compacting it. And then they dump it off in another spot. And someone else sorts it out. And they're driving to work in these vehicles. And they're just fucking killing our environment. And yet I'd like to say, everyone stop buying stuff. Well, we need to eat. Well, grow your own. Okay, that is not an easy project. I know it because I've been working on it for years. I supplement my diet with some natural things that I've been able to grow myself, but it's a huge project. And if any of you out there are not doing your own food forest garden, or, I don't care if you're in a major city, you can start growing your own food, putting plants in the ground, trying to grow stuff. Fuck the grass. You don't need grass. We need, well, a little bit of marijuana would be good. They call that grass, right? But for the most part, we need a dense canopy recreated to cover us from the blinding light of the sun. Think about it. Our eyeballs are going to work a little better. That sun is killing everything. I shouldn't say the sun. The lack of the canopy, our protective shielding around our planet. Rainfall levels are dropping. Everything. The problems that the politicians are facing are colossal, but I don't think it's the politicians that we should be looking to for answers, unless, of course, they could provide a voice of reason. And right now, it seems just, well, from my point of view, they're stupid. And I'd like you to look up that stuff on the 5 Laws of Stupidity with Humanity. It's very interesting stuff. Boys and girls, thank you for joining in. I appreciate your attention. Let's see what we can do. Catch up later and see where we go.